The vast darkness of space stretched endlessly around Captain Elias Ward. Stars blinked like tiny candles in the night. But here, near the edge of a forgotten sector, even their light felt cold and distant. Elias floated through his small scout ship, checking the instruments again. The readings were strange. Energy spikes that didn't belong to any known planet or asteroid. He frowned. "Nothing moves here," he muttered to himself. "Why is something alive out here?" Elias's curiosity was stronger than fear. Humanity had sent explorers into countless uncharted systems, but most of the time, they returned with tales of barren planets or empty debris. Yet this time something was different. The sensors showed a drifting spacecraft, ancient, broken yet pulsing faintly with life signs. A shiver ran down Elias's spine, not from fear but from the thrill of discovery. The alien ship was enormous compared to his small craft. Its hull was cracked and frosted over from years drifting near the cold star. Metal groaned as he carefully maneuvered his ship closer, scanning the ship's surface. Despite its damage, the craft was sophisticated. Its design was elegant, unlike any human construction. Curved, flowing lines suggested artistry as well as function. He felt a strange mix of awe and apprehension. Elias suited up and activated the docking protocols. The airlock hissed as he floated inside, the weightlessness reminding him he was far from home. Inside, the corridors were dimly lit by emergency lights. Shadows danced across walls covered with alien symbols he could not read. The air smelled faintly of ozone and something sweet, almost like flowers he had never known. As he floated further, he noticed a movement in the corner of his vision. A figure lay slumped on the floor. A woman, but not like any human. Her skin shimmered faintly, pale with hints of gold. Her hair flowed around her like liquid shadow, and her eyes, though closed, hinted at deep intelligence and sorrow. She was small, fragile-looking, yet there was a strange presence about her, something that commanded attention even in weakness. Elias cautiously approached. "Hello," he said. His voice echoed slightly in the empty corridor. The woman stirred and opened her eyes. They were wide, luminous, and full of fear. She tried to stand, but her legs wobbled. She looked at him with a mixture of hope and desperation. "Please," she whispered, her voice melodic but trembling. I need help." Elias studied her. He had faced dangerous situations before, but nothing quite like this. "I'm a human," he said. "I can help you, but first you have to tell me your name." "Lyra," she breathed. "I am Lyra." Her name seemed to hold a weight, a story of loss and survival. Elias helped her to a secure room in the ship. She collapsed onto a seat, exhausted. Her hands trembled as she gestured to the damage around them. "My people. They left me," she said, her voice breaking. "They said I failed, that I was a burden. I have nowhere to go, no one to trust. Please, take me with you. Let me serve you. Let me live." Elias froze. The words were strange, but he understood their meaning. She was asking for protection, for guidance, for partnership, not in fear or submission, but in desperation. He could see her pride struggling against the hopelessness. "I won't make you a servant," he said carefully, "but I can protect you. You can come with me. We will figure out what to do together." Lyra's eyes widened. For a moment, disbelief flickered across her features. Then slowly she nodded. I trust you," she whispered. "I will follow you." Elias felt a strange warmth, a sense of responsibility that pressed on him like gravity. He had seen humans survive the impossible, fight with courage when odds were against them. And now, here was someone relying on him, someone from a species he could barely understand asking for his help. They began repairing her ship together. Lyra showed Elias alien systems he could never have imagined, consoles that floated in the air, energy cores that glowed with colors he had no words for, doors that opened when they felt the will of the person approaching. Elias was amazed at her knowledge, her ability to operate this advanced technology. He realized that her skills could change the course of human exploration if used wisely. As the repairs continued, they shared stories. Lyra spoke of her world, a planet of beauty and danger, of cities that floated above clouds and forests that sang when the wind passed through. She had been a scholar, a strategist, a warrior in her people's conflicts, but politics and betrayal had cast her aside. Humans, she had heard, were unpredictable, often reckless, but there was something in their courage that fascinated her. Elias told her of Earth, of humanity's struggles and triumphs. how people built civilizations from nothing, how they fought against overwhelming odds, how they valued loyalty, courage, and morality. Lyra listened, her expression changing from sadness to fascination. She had been abandoned by her own species, but here was another species, different yet brave, offering her respect and trust. Their conversation was interrupted by a sudden alarm. Sensors blinked frantically. "Intruders," Elias muttered. "They're coming." Before he could explain, the walls of the ship shook. Outside, he could see shapes moving, alien scavengers drawn to Lyra's vessel by its energy signature. They were ruthless, armed with weapons that could tear through metal. Their intentions were clear. They wanted Lyra for themselves. Elias felt a surge of determination. He was human, yes, but more than that, he was a protector. He grabbed his weapon, a small plasma rifle, and took a defensive position. Lyra, though weakened, stood beside him. She touched a control panel, activating energy shields that hummed around the room. Together, human and alien, they prepared to fight. The first wave of attackers entered. Elias's heart pounded, but his mind was clear. He fired with precision, using the ship's narrow corridors to his advantage. Lyra assisted, manipulating the alien technology in ways he could not predict. Energy beams flashed, alarms blared, and the scavengers hesitated, caught off guard by their coordination. Hours passed, though it felt like minutes. Every attack tested their limits. Elias was impressed by Lyra's resilience. She fought not with brute force, but with strategy, foresight, and courage. For the first time, he saw the potential of an alliance between human ingenuity and alien skill. Together, they were a force neither could have been alone. Finally, the scavengers retreated, wounded and frustrated. The corridor was silent except for the hum of Lyra's ship and Elias's heavy breathing. They looked at each other, exhausted but unbroken. You're stronger than I imagined," Lyra said softly. "Your people, they have courage that no one can take away." Elias smiled faintly, wiping sweat from his brow. "And you've taught me things I could never learn from books or training. Together we're stronger." For the first time since she had been abandoned, Lyra felt hope. And for Elias, the vast darkness of space no longer seemed empty. He had found not just a survivor, but an ally, someone who could challenge him, teach him, and trust him in ways no one else could. As they prepared to repair the final systems of her ship, Elias realized the truth. Humanity was not just strong because of weapons or numbers. It was strong because of courage, morality, and the willingness to stand for others, even when the odds were impossible. And now, together, they would face whatever the galaxy had in store. But the danger was far from over. Elias knew that other enemies would come, drawn by Lyra's presence and the secrets her ship contained. Yet for the first time he felt ready, not just as a human but as a protector, a leader, and a friend. Lyra, once rejected and abandoned, now had a chance to fight, to survive, and to trust again. And beside her stood a human who would not abandon her, no matter the cost. The stars outside shone cold and distant, but inside the ship, a spark had been lit, a spark of courage, hope, and partnership that would guide them through the dangers ahead. Elias and Lyra floated through the control room, the ship's hum a constant reminder of both fragility and potential. The alien vessel, once lifeless and abandoned, now responded to their combined efforts. Lyra's fingers danced across the alien panels, activating systems with ease, while Elias coordinated repairs and prepared defenses against any future attackers. Together, they had become a team, a partnership forged in survival and trust. Days passed as they worked. Elias repaired the ship's hull, rewired damaged circuits, and scavenged parts from the wreckage. Lyra shared her knowledge of alien technology, showing him how to manipulate energy cores, boost shields, and enhance propulsion. She even taught him how to anticipate enemy tactics, drawing from centuries of her civilization's strategic thinking. Elias absorbed it all, amazed at how humans could adapt to challenges far beyond their world with patience and creativity. One quiet moment. As they floated near a viewing window, Elias looked out at the star field. "You know," he said, "I never thought I'd meet anyone like you out here. I thought space would be empty, cold, but it's full of surprises." Lyra smiled faintly, a shadow of the pain she had carried. "I never imagined I would trust anyone again. My people, they left me for dead. But you see me differently. You don't judge me for who I am or where I come from." Elias shook his head. No one should ever be judged for being alone or rejected. Humanity survives because we care for each other, even in impossible situations. That's our strength. Lyra studied him, her eyes reflecting the distant stars. Perhaps that is why you are strong, she said softly. Not just your skill, but your heart. I will follow you, not as a slave, but as an ally. Together we will face whatever comes. Their bond grew with each passing day. They laughed as they tested the ship's restored systems, argued over navigation decisions, and shared stories of homeworlds so different yet strangely similar. Elias learned about Lyra's civilization, cities of crystal floating above clouds, creatures that glowed in the forests, technologies that manipulated energy in ways he could only dream of. Lyra learned about humanity's resilience, surviving famine, war, and disasters through determination and ingenuity. The peace, however, was shattered one morning. Sensors picked up a fleet approaching, a small armada of scavenger ships armed with advanced weapons and guided by intelligence networks that had tracked Lyra's ship across light years. Elias and Lyra exchanged a determined glance. They had survived before, but this would be a true test of their alliance. Elias quickly assessed their options. We can't outrun them all, he said. We'll have to fight smart, use what we have. Are you ready? Lyra nodded, her voice steady. I am. Together we are stronger than they expect. The first wave of enemy ships arrived, firing energy beams that tore through the void. Elias maneuvered their ship with precision, using debris fields and asteroid belts to their advantage. Lyra activated alien shields, forming a protective bubble around the vessel while launching countermeasures that disrupted the scavengers' targeting systems. The battle raged for hours. Elias fired plasma cannons from hidden ports, striking enemy ships with careful aim. Lyra controlled energy pulses, creating traps that forced the attackers into tight clusters, making them easy targets. Their teamwork was seamless, their trust in each other unwavering. At one point, an enemy ship broke through their shields, ramming the side of Lyra's vessel. The hull cracked, alarms blaring. Lyra's hands flew over the controls, trying to stabilize the energy cores. Sparks flew, and for a moment the ship shuddered as if it might tear apart. Elias grabbed a repair tool, floating across the breach, and worked alongside her. Their hands moved in synchrony, guided by experience and instinct. When the last scavenger ship attempted to retreat, Elias launched a calculated counterattack. Using debris as cover, he ambushed the fleet, disabling their engines one by one. Lyra directed energy pulses that disabled their weapons, forcing the attackers to surrender or flee. In the end, the scavenger fleet broke formation and fled into the darkness. Defeated but alive, exhausted but victorious, Elias and Lyra floated in the control room, watching the remnants of the battle drift away. We did it, Elias said, his voice heavy but relieved. Together. Lyra nodded, her expression softening. Yes, I have learned the truth about humans. Your strength is not in weapons or numbers. It is in courage and strategy and the bonds you form. You do not rely on fear or domination. You inspire loyalty and respect. That is why you survived, Elias smiled faintly. And you've taught me patience, foresight, and to value knowledge as much as bravery. Together, we are stronger than either alone. The bond between them became more than just survival. It became respect, trust, and admiration. Lyra no longer spoke of herself as abandoned or rejected. She had a purpose again, a place to belong. And Elias, who had always worked alone, discovered that humans were strongest when they connected, when they fought and survived together. They spent the following weeks exploring the sector, charting new planets and systems. Elias marveled at the strange worlds Lyra described, planets with floating oceans, forests of crystal, skies that shimmered with unknown energies. Lyra adapted to human customs with ease, learning to cook simple meals, navigate human protocols, and even joke in the way humans did. One day, while surveying a nearby asteroid field, they encountered a strange anomaly, an energy rift that pulsed like a heartbeat. Sensors indicated that it was a portal to another system, possibly another civilization. Elias hesitated. This could be dangerous, he said. We don't know what's on the other side. Lyra studied the readings, her eyes thoughtful. It is an opportunity. I have spent too long hiding, too long afraid. Perhaps this is our chance to see what lies beyond, to face new challenges together. Elias nodded, trusting his instincts and his ally. Then we take it together. They navigated the rift carefully, holding their breath as the ship was pulled into a vortex of swirling light. For a moment, everything was chaos. Alarms blared, lights flickered, and the ship was tossed like a leaf in a storm. Then suddenly they emerged. Before them stretched a new system, uncharted and breathtaking. Planets of vibrant colors, moons that glowed with soft light, and strange nebulae painting the sky. Elias grinned, feeling the thrill of discovery surge through him. This is why we explore, he said. Lyra's eyes shone with wonder. And we face it together, she said. But the new system was not empty. Sensors picked up signals, ships approaching, watching, perhaps curious, perhaps hostile. Elias knew that the challenges would not end. But he felt ready. He had survived impossible odds before, and now, with Lyra by his side, he had a partner whose skill, intelligence, and courage matched his own. Over the following months, they explored new worlds, sometimes encountering danger, sometimes marveling at beauty. Elias's human ingenuity allowed them to solve problems that seemed unsolvable, while Lyra's knowledge of alien technology gave them an edge no human alone could achieve. Through it all, their trust and friendship deepened. Lyra no longer referred to herself as abandoned. She had a place, a purpose, and a partner who respected her. Elias, who had once relied only on himself, learned the true strength of humanity not in isolation, but in connection, courage, and moral fortitude. One evening, as they floated near a small green planet, Lyra turned to Elias. "You saved me, not just from my enemies, but from despair," she said. "I thought I was alone in the universe. But with you, I have hope. I have strength. I have a future." Elias smiled, looking at the distant stars reflected in her eyes. "And I have learned that humans are not defined by what we can destroy, but by what we can protect. You are not my slave, Lyra. You are my ally, my friend, and together we are unstoppable." Lyra reached out, placing her hand lightly on his. "Then we continue together," she said, and so they did. Through the darkness of space, through danger and discovery, Elias and Lyra became a testament to the power of human courage, ingenuity, and morality. No matter how advanced, how numerous, or how dangerous the alien civilizations they encountered, humanity's strength shone brightest when standing for what was right, when protecting those who could not protect themselves, and when forging bonds of trust and respect across the stars. The galaxy stretched before them, vast and full of unknowns. But Elias knew one thing for certain. With courage, intelligence, and heart, humans could face any challenge. And beside him, Lyra had found a home she had never thought possible, a place where she was valued, respected, and trusted. Together, they would explore the stars, survive the dangers, and prove that humanity's true power lay not in conquest, but in the ability to inspire hope, courage, and loyalty, even in the most desperate corners of the universe. The stars outside sparkled like promises of new adventures, and Elias and Lyra, human and alien, stood ready to meet them, together,